Thanks so much for being a part of our study today. We're in Isaiah chapter 38. We're going to look at Hezekiah's prayer. Now, yesterday we talked about Hezekiah prayed and God heard his prayer and answered the prayer. But now this is the prayer. This is what he had to say. He said, in the noontime of my days I must depart. I am consigned to the gates of Sheol. Now, Sheol is the realm of the dead. And in Hezekiah's day, they were not living under the understanding that resurrection, like we've learned from Jesus. So he's wondering, am I just going to be put away in God's filing cabinet for some reason? That's my understanding. You want to expand on that?
I think that we can extrapolate from earlier passages of Isaiah that God was planting a seed for resurrection in his words.
Absolutely.
I don't think that they were able to understand that yet.
Correct. So, out of the filing cabinet. Now I'm going to spend the rest of my years there. I said, I shall not see the Lord in the land of the living. Now, the land of the living is right now. You and I are in the land of the living. You are too, watching this on video. I'll not look on mortals among the inhabitants of the world. My dwelling is plucked up and removed from me like a shepherd's tent. So this is his idea. This is what it's going to be. We talked about his weeping, turning the wall and weeping. Well, this was his feeling about what led him to weep. I cry for help until morning. Like a lion, he breaks all my bones. From day to night, you bring me to an end. That's a graphic picture. More than likely, he was in pain.
And crushed in the spirit.
Right. So he's going through hard times. One of the beauties about reading the Bible and praying the Bible is it gives us words. You know, these are words that can be prayed by us when we are dealing with our illness, with our sickness, with problems, with difficulties. We can come to God and say, well, if the king who knew you so well can cry, so can I. If he can talk to you about his distress, so can I. You can do that with him.
And we're listening to, we're reading about God's response, and we know that he responded.
Correct. So the problem of the first, from chapter 7 to 39, or maybe 36 of Isaiah, was the people weren't trusting God. They were still religious. They went through all the forms of religion. They weren't trusting God. Now you have a picture of someone who's in a dire situation and he's trusting God. So he just goes on. He says, my eyes are weary with looking upward. O Lord, I am oppressed. Be my security. And these are, I don't know if you've had, Rudy, I've had times where I've just really been distressed. And I didn't really read Isaiah, but I read the Psalms, and I used words like this to call out to God and say, God, I need you right here.
Pretty much every night when I'm praying, I'm in tears.
Right. Yeah.
Not necessarily for myself. That does happen. Once in a while I do ask God to heal me.
Sure.
But it's just the magnificence of having this relationship with the King of the universe, and he listens to you.
Right.
I can't prove that. But I certainly feel that way. And that's really where righteousness lives, in your belief that he is who he says he is.
Yes, absolutely. Can I just spin off of that? As I have read through Isaiah, there's a couple of things that just really sing to me. And one of the things that sing to me is the absolute grace that God will direct our lives, guide our lives, and connect with us. That it's unheard of other than with the Hebrew Christian faith, that God will do that. And then I kick myself and I say, if I don't take advantage of that, what an idiot I am. It is such a gift from God for us to know him. So let's go on.
Okay.
So he prays, "Oh, restore me to health. Make me live." And so then he talks about how in Sheol, in that nether world, the filing cabinet I called it, death can't praise you. Those who go down in the pit can't hope for your faithfulness. The living, they thank you, as I do this day. Now, Jesus was able to help us think about heaven much more clearly than this. But here's a guy who's just crying out to God and using his words to say, "Lord, come save me." You have a thought on that?
Well, really what I was thinking about was Luke 16 and Lazarus and his master.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an example of what Hezekiah was thinking about as far as afterlife was concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I believe, is a biblical reality, because no one could ascend to heaven before Jesus ascended to heaven, because he is preeminent in everything.
Right.
So the reality that Isaiah saw about Pharaoh, and what he said is the people in the underworld were saying, "Is this the man that made all the nations tremble?"
Right.
It's the same thing that is in Isaiah, is in Hezekiah's consciousness, because it is a truth.
Right.
That was the afterlife until Jesus' resurrection.
Right. Right. And so Jesus and Martha talked about her brother, and she said, "Lord, if you'd been here, my brother would not have died." And Jesus said, "There, your brother will live." And she, being a good Pharisee, said, "He will live at the resurrection of the last day." And Jesus said, "I am the resurrection and the life."
I am is actually the translation of the Tetragrammaton, which
That's the four letters.
four letters.
That refer to God.
I believe, with my own syllables and my own vowing of it, is Jehovah.
Right.
But no one knew that name until Moses heard it at the burning bush.
Right.
Everybody before him knew him as El Shaddai, God Almighty.
Right. So I am the resurrection and life, and whoever lives and believes in me will never die.
Amen.
Yeah. And then just to prove that, he walked out to her brother's tomb and said, "Lazarus, come forth."
Right, and you've heard this preached before, and if he hadn't said Lazarus, if he had just said come forth, everybody would have come
Correct.
forth.
That's
so,
right.
Because his word is how he creates.
Right. So Hezekiah put it like this: "The Lord will save me,
Hallelujah.
and we will sing to stringed instruments all the days of our lives at the house of the Lord." Praise and honor to God is the proper response to his hearing our prayer. Thank you so much for being a part of our study today. God bless you. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.